Hi, my name is Kero Muhoya. I'm the founder and CEO of Fingo Africa. Fingo is a digital bank designed for young Africans. We built Fingo primarily because we looked around and there weren't any institutions, financial institutions, serving what is the youngest, largest youth population in history, and we decided to build that institution. My fundraising journey was all about learning about the terminologies, the different vocabulary, the processes, and understanding that actually fundraising is has its own different set of rules. And my initial instinct was to try and optimize this process. So, trying to research the tips and tricks to ultimately raise capital, until ultimately I learned that there's only one tip and one trick that really matters, which is build a great company, articulate its promise really well, and you're on your way to a great fundraiser. I decided to use the Parity Pitch Review tool primarily because I needed an expert opinion. When you start a startup, you build a deck and an incredible concept, and the first people you share it with are often the most biased people, so your friends and family. And I needed a non-biased expert kind of eyes to review my concept and ultimately my startup. And I think that Parity at the time, and probably still, is the only expert review panel that I found easily accessible, especially as an African founder. The Parity Pitch Review tool was useful to me primarily because it gave me an opportunity to benchmark my startup and my product against some really valuable metrics. I hadn't quite understood how important the size of your market was, the strength of your team and how to evaluate that, the strength of your product, your go-to-market strategy. There was a bunch of different metrics that I had not considered, and by receiving a detailed report on my idea, I began to realize that actually it's not that good and it could improve. So that's how kind of the first idea evolved into what we're building now, Fingo. After we got our results, we first implemented the feedback, and that gave birth to what Fingo is today. After which we applied to YC, we got in. We were voted amongst the top 10 best companies of our batch, amongst 400 others. We then raised a seed round. We've hired a team of over 20 people. And I asked Jakob, how can I pay it back? How can I pay back what I've done and what Parity has done for Fingo? And the first thing he said was pay it forward. And I was able to mentor one other startup into YC, and they went on to do amazing as well. My advice to founders that are fundraising is take painful feedback the most serious. The most painful feedback is the best feedback. And when I was, my first experience taking painful feedback was to be emotional about it and be, defensive. But actually, I looked in the mirror and I said, I'm going to take this feedback. And that's actually what helped us grow. So take the painful feedback, love the people that give you the painful feedback, and ultimately do not try and optimize anything other than your company. Good companies, promising companies, raise capital simply because they have to grow. And that's my advice.